Good afternoon, welcome to Rundlii Gaming. So we're going to be doing another video on Hive. This will actually be a new series. This is something I'll probably be playing off and on. It's just a fun little game that it used to be, I guess you could call it a board game, even though it's mostly just a bunch of tiles. And then they converted it over to digital, and then from there you can actually play it online now through Steam. Normally, on average, I think the game itself runs about $15 for all the expansions and all that stuff with it as well. So what we're going to do is just do playing against the computer here. And just so that I can actually explain the game, I'll probably kick the difficulty down just a little bit. And then from here, we'll go ahead and start. Now, at the start of the game, each player is basically going to set up their initial hive, and from there you're going to basically create your particular side of the hive. So as you can see, you get 3 of these worker ants, 2 of these beetles, 3 of the grasshoppers, your queen ant, which is it's kind of like the king of chess, your spider, the pillbox bug, which is like an expansion, the mosquito, and then the last one down there is a ladybug. Alright, so from there, what we're going to do is probably go ahead and lay down one of our pieces. Now, what they actually do, which I can probably explain a little better once we have pieces down. So in this particular case, I laid a spider first. And then we're going to try to get a little bit of variety here. I will probably drop a little soldier guy there. I'll probably drop a pillbox here next. And lastly, I will drop my queen. Alright, so now that we've pretty much had the board itself set up already, what we're going to do is go over what each of these things do. Now, first off, you can never break the hive itself. So like this piece right here, it cannot move, since if it moved, it would no longer connect these two. So for example, this pillbox, I can't move because it'll basically separate this piece here. The objective of the game itself, though, is to surround the other pieces as well. Pretty much if you surround it completely, you win. Then we're just going to go from the top down. The little soldier ant here, he can pretty much move anywhere he wants. So like in this case, I can move pretty much anywhere. This bug here, this one actually moves 1 square, whichever direction it wants to. It can actually go on top of other ones. It also will give you control of that space as long as it's above another one, because most of these other ones cannot actually get on top of another piece. This is the only one that can actually do that. The grasshopper, it will jump from one end to the other. So let's say if my grasshopper was on this side of the queen, I could jump all the way over all these pieces and land here if I wanted to. Like his grasshopper here, if he wanted to, he could move here with it. After that, yeah, the queen bee I think was in this spot here. The queen bee, again, this is one that can only move short distances here. It can normally only move 1. The only reason that you can actually move here right now is because of the pillbox bug there. Because this one basically allows you to push another bug somewhere adjacent to it. And pretty much what I did was I put them adjacent to each other so that way I can kind of control where it goes. So if they start to completely surround me, I can hopefully just throw it somewhere else. The mosquito can use any ability of any piece that is adjacent to. So for example, if I move this mosquito next to this soldier ant here, then he is a soldier ant, if I need to use him as that. The ladybug, it does, it's kind of like the horse in chess, in that it does like a, So for example, if I have the ladybug here, you will jump 2 squares. It has to be over pieces that are already on there, and then it goes in one direction afterward. So it's kind of hard to explain, but let's say if ladybug was on this end here, I can go 1, 2, then I can drop any open space next to it. Or if I was here between my ant and their queen, I could go 1, 2, then drop anywhere next to it. So it doesn't necessarily be straight, but basically you go across 2 different pieces, and you drop into a gap that's next to it. Alright, so at this point though, what we're going to do is go ahead and get a piece close to their queen. At the start of each turn, you can pretty much do an action by either moving one of your current pieces, or you can place a new one on the board. In this case, he put another mosquito down, and what I will probably do, I usually like to get a beetle going. So he dropped a pillbox, which I'm not sure why he would want to place all the way up there, but since we have plenty of time, I'm just gonna go marching over. Also, you cannot place another piece unless you have your hive adjacent to it and none of theirs touching it. So for example, I cannot lay a piece here between like the spider here and their hive leader, but I could drop it here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and jump on their queen. Now, since I am the top piece on this particular one, they can no longer move the queen, which is mostly my means of just controlling their queen. And also this counts as my piece for the time being, until I decide to move it off. So at this point, what we're going to probably want to do so we're going to drop a ladybug there. And as you can see, what we're actually planning on doing here is pretty much surrounding their pieces. Unfortunately though, I cannot lay a piece here because their spider right there is next to it. So what I'll probably do, so actually we do have our ladybug. So again, it can move 2 spaces over any other tile, but then it jumps 1 to the side afterward. So in this case I can go 2 down and then 1 here. And as you can see with his grasshopper, he jumped all the way across mine and is currently there now. So at this point, I'm just going to use my beetle to finish this off. And as you can see, I completely surrounded their leader, and as such, I win the game from it.